Kazakhstan is one of the most multinational countries in the world. Here live representatives of more than 130 ethnic groups and nationalities. Each ethnos is a unique tradition, unique holidays, fascinating stories and amazing recipes. Recipes of kindness and peace, recipes of respect for their ancestors and foreign culture, recipes of friendship. Hello, you're watching Recipe for Friendship. My name is Alevtina Majarova. Today in Astana, you and I will learn all about the culture of Czech people of Kazakhstan. And in this case, the greeting should sound a little different. Dobrý den. Vítejte in Astana. My grandmother has already arrived. We are welcome. Dobrý den. Today's acquaintance began very warmly and cheerfully, and I have to admit beforehand, I got an unspeakable pleasure from it. Our program is dedicated to the culture and customs and lifestyle of the Czechs and the Czech community of Astana. We'll see how to welcome guests according to old Czech traditions.
Tak vítáme naše hosty po staré české tradici.
Moc hodně chleb.
And what is a must thing at Czech New Year's holiday? It's hard to imagine New Year's Eve without frost. Everyone would be very upset. There is no New Year's Eve without frost. How to cook one of the most important dishes in the Czech culinary tradition.
Merunka se tam schovala, je už vevnitř.
We will also learn the Czech tongue twisters, songs and customs.
Stříbrný stříkaček, stříkal přes 333, stříbrný střech.
Nový učitel 330.
Hello, please come in.
Pojďte dál.
Děkuji moc krát.
Try this bread and salt. It's our tradition.
To je naše tradice, takže prosím vás, vemte si kousek chleba.
What should I do?
Předvést? Vemte si kousek chleba, tady se umíte kousek chleba.
Try a piece of bread and dip it in salt. Try it.
Tak vítáme naše
This is how we welcome our guests according to the old Czech tradition. The bread is very tasty. The tradition of welcoming with bread and salt is familiar to many. It is not alien to the Czechs too. And in some areas, this tradition is alive to this day. We are visiting a teacher of Nazarbayev University, Marek Jokec, and his wife Hanna. Their children, Anna, Marusha, and Janek, were also getting ready to welcome us. Marusha even wore a traditional outfit. We were lucky that today not only Czech friends who also live in Astana gathered here, but also their relatives from the Czech Republic. Hanna's mother Maria and sister Martina. Well, since grandmother is visiting, there would be a special treat on the table, which is called a grandmother's pie or babovka in Czech language.
Ano, ano, to je, co to je?
What is it, children? Babovka. Babovka? And what is it? Babovka is a Czech pie. Is it a traditional dessert? Yes. Children look forward to eat this pie with great anticipation. Sweet aromatic pie can different composition. It can be made with or without chocolate, but its shape is always recognizable. Who wants this pie? I want. Children cannot wait to try it. Today I baked babovka. This is a traditional Czech dessert. Tell me, why do you call it babovka? Because it is usually baked by a grandmother. In Russia, it will be grandma's pie. Here we have the Czech flag. The ingredients are eggs, sugar, milk and flour. The main thing is the shape, the classical shape of babovka. Hanna added lemon zest to the dough this time. It turned out perfectly. Very tasty pie. Probably this is the most delicious babovka I've tried, especially since this is my first one. It's the first one for you? Yes. It is necessary to make a wish. Well, I will make a wish, and it's not a secret. I want everyone to know it. I would like to visit Czech Republic as soon as possible. Come and visit us as soon as possible, with pleasure. This pie is served traditionally with coffee with sour cream. Sour cream in Czech is cream in fact, so it's not a coffee with sour cream, it's coffee with cream. Marek and Gana met in Vienna, where they studied and worked. After that they lived in the United States for several years, then in Russia and now in Astana. The result of such an international life is multiculturalism. I look at you and it's such an international mix. Today we can hear so many languages here. Czech, Russian, also Polish, and then English and French. You are not just an ordinary family, but a treasure. Alevtina, today's Europe is just like that. This is partly due to the fact that the borders are open. Now we can work anywhere we want to. Globalization in Europe has gone very far, and this is the result. Czech Republic itself, although not large in size, can boast with a variety of accents, costumes and customs. The territory of the country is just under 80,000 square kilometers. The population is about 10 million people. Geographically, it is conditionally divided into Moravia and Bohemia. Moravia in its turn means the southern and northern parts. Hanna and Marek, for example, are from northern Moravia or Silesia. And Zora, on occasion, has specially put on a shirt in the national Czech style. She's from Prague. Where do you all come from? Well, I'm, for example, from Prague, from the city itself. And you are from Silesia. Yes, we are from Silesia, from the part that is close to Poland. By the way, we have our magazine, which is published 4 times a year. There is the same distance between Prague and Ostrava, like from Astana to Karaganda, but these are fundamentally different regions of the country. The Czech Republic is a small country, but regions are quite different. Even dialects. For example, people can find out that I'm from Prague, from the way I speak. From your accent? Yes, from my accent. I do not know how many different accents there are in Czech Republic. So then it takes how many hours to get from Prague to Ostrava? Well, it's about 3 hours by train. Marek and his family are from Silesia. This is the northeast of the country, formerly a purely miners' region. Now this country house is a cozy corner, and it is always pleasant to come back there and have a fun vacation. It's a small village with 1,000 people or 1,200 people. There is a traditional group, folklore group, where my mom and dad participate. And you are not in this photo. Yes, I'm there, here on this side, with my grandfather and grandmother. This is my mom and dad. That's why you sing so well, or are all Czechs so musical?
Co Czech, to muzykant.
Co Czech, to muzykant.
Ano.
Ej, vy páni, vy nevíte, co nového, já vám to povím. Ej, vy páni, vy nevíte, co nového, já vám to povím. Ve strážnici verbuju, na 2 bubny bubnuju, na vojnu beru.
We play different instruments. I played the violin when I was young. You're on. I played the accordion. Our father played the guitar. And you too play the guitar. Well, I'm not. I played a little bit. They say that before all Czechs played on something and even went abroad. They traveled and earned money. Yes, you really are talented musicians. There were a lot of songs today. Children prepared their performances very carefully. Anna, Marusha and Madeleine were all eager to perform. Each of the girls played the piano, in addition to songs and dances, and each of them easily switched from Czech to English, from English to Russian. I would not be surprised if by the next meeting they will also speak Kazakh.
Není nutno, aby bylo přímo veselo. Hlavně nesmí být smutno, na to šáby se večelo. Služby travce, řeky ptavce, slavné mince nekřesí. Není žádné kamarády, tomu já říkám neštěstí.
The conversation was very cheerful. We recalled cartoons from the Soviet childhood, traditional fairy tales and complexities of Czech pronunciation. Perhaps someone remembers cartoons about the mullet, the lioness and the bolik, Jimilik and Makmuka, the ladder and the macaroni. But what exactly cannot be forgotten? 3 nuts for Cinderella. Remember Three Nuts for Cinderella? It was the most popular film at the time. The whole world knows the Czech film Three Nuts for Cinderella. Yes, all girls at school dreamed of Cinderella's dress. All men were in love with Libushi Shafrankova. You know, at least once a year you can watch this movie on TV. Usually on Christmas Eve. Fairy tales are very popular, and for example, when it's Christmas time, the whole family sits and watches fairy tales. But what exactly came as a surprise to me was that the old Soviet tales were also a Czech Christmas tradition. And Morozko for sure. Morozko? Do people watch Czech Mrazik? Yes, it's the same Morozko. Here, pussycat, there is a sour cream in a bowl. Well done. And children know all these words in Czech, of course. What Ivanushka said, what Baba Yaga said. They sing in Czech language songs from Morozko. They still watch it over there? Yes, everyone. It's hard to imagine New Year's Eve without Father Frost. Everyone would be very upset. There is no New Year's Eve without Father Frost.
Тепло лети, девица.
Да ты что, старый? Очумел, что ли?
Coming up next, we will learn the traditional Czech cuisine. We will cook the most authentic food there is, zelnička and meringue dumplings. Of course, grandmother spends a lot of time at the stove, but since she's visiting her children and grandchildren, Marek decided to cook the main dish himself. I will cook a Czech traditional soup, zelnička. This is a soup made of sour cabbage. Our grandmother brought the main ingredients for this soup from the Czech Republic, because here we cannot buy it. It seems to me if we leave our cabbage a little longer, it will be similar in taste. Well, maybe we just forgot it somehow and thus invented this cabbage. In many families, they cook it during the fall. I lived in an apartment, and on the balcony we had a special dish, 50 liters. We would buy a cabbage from my grandmother or grandfather or somewhere else. I remember when I was a boy, I helped to cut it. There is such a thing, this little thing, that helps cutting a cabbage. I don't remember what it's called. Czech people make sauerkraut not in the usual way we used to. They keep it for much longer, a couple of weeks. And carrots are never added to it. In the Czech Republic, kysany zeli is very popular. It is served as a garnish and it is used as a stuffing. The main ingredient I cooked for 25 minutes. I cook potatoes separately because if potatoes will be boiled together with cabbage, then potatoes will be stiff. And here I cut the onions. I took a smoked and not plain chicken breast. I boiled it more or less, then turned it into bacon. I fried it. Basically, I cooked cracklings. Cooking of this soup is not complicated. Cabbage and potatoes are cooked separately. Onions and brisket are toasted on salted and cleaned squash. And then everything is mixed and seasoned to taste. We will add potatoes now. We mix everything. It's a simple homemade food. Yes. You know, there is such a proverb. My grandmother who lived in the mountains, in the Carpathian Mountains, heard it too. They say, that's for example, people survived wars on potatoes and cabbage. Cabbage contains a lot of vitamin C. Some people add some flour to make it thick in texture. This type of zelenčka is typical for Czech Republic. Although there are many ways one can cook it. It looks very nice and tempting. And I can confirm that it smells wonderful. Another component that almost always exists on the Czech table is beer. Actually, Czechs are the one who invented this drink. In the Middle Ages, when the amber drink was literally cooked in every house, an edict was issued regulating the number of beer in the country. Not more than every 100. There was also an original way to control the quality of the drink. The inspector in special leather pants sat down on a wooden bench lavished with beer, and if his pants stuck to the bench, the brewer could be considered worthy of a quality certificate. However, we have a family gathering and we will focus on other treats. For the second dish, we have probably the most popular dish of the country, which has a lot of options and is served to the table at any time of the day. Dumplings.
Teď budeme dělat ty knedlíky švestkové babičtiny. Meruňkové.
Now we will make dumplings made with plums or apricots. We'll take milk. How many here we have? A quarter liter. We will boil it. And a little salt. Just a little bit. We will mix the boiling milk with flour. And let's start stirring it. It's hard to explain what dumplings mean in a few words. In fact, they can be cooked with meat or potatoes, they can be baked or boiled from the dough of the most different kinds or yesterday's bread. Dumplings can be cooked for lunch and dinner, and if there are several left in the morning, then the hostess can cook dumplings from it. In each house and in every restaurant, you can try different dumplings. They are served as bread, side dish, dessert, or as in our case, a second dish. Although we will use custard dough and the filling will be sweet. What are you doing, girls? We are making dough for dumplings. Really good. Grandmother prepared a classical dough and granddaughters helped to properly stir it before cutting. In the meantime, breadcrumbs were burned on the stove, in which we will add butter and sugar. This is a kind of sprinkling on the future dumplings. Meanwhile, it's time to stuff the dough with meringues or apricots. We cut it into pieces. Yes, one we will give to Marussia. She will wrap it up. Another one we will give to Madeleine. And one I will leave with me. One dumpling is ready. It should look like this. This should be a dumpling, you see? Meringue hides inside. We will take this side, wet it and wrap it like this. That's how you need to wrap it. We didn't use only apricots. Part of dumplings were made with strawberries and children were certainly very pleased with it. We put it on stove. Well, now we'll cook. Once they are fully cooked, they will rise upward. Well, it's going to take another 8 minutes. Soon everything was ready and the family gathered at the table. Both old and young members of the family participated in cooking and everyone got hungry. So everything is ready. Zelnečka, please enjoy. It's beautiful. And who cooked it? I did. Yes, dumplings made with meringue and berries. And here we have another plate. This is for an uninvited guest. This is also a tradition. If someone comes unexpectedly, there is a plate for him by tradition. The tradition of an empty plate in case of a sudden visit of one of friends or neighbors exists in some regions of the Czech Republic.
Dobré chutnání, dobrou chuť. Dobrou chuť. Věříme, že vám bude chutnat.
Well, we hope that you will enjoy Czech cuisine, just like Czech traditions, which our new friends showed and told us about with such love and warmth. Thank you for the warm welcome and food, and definitely we hope to see you again. Until next time. After all, we have new acquaintances and new recipes ahead of us. It is impossible to exhaust the diversity of cultures, traditions and customs that can be found in Kazakhstan. On this, allow me to bow out. This was Recipe for Friendship, yours, Alevtina Majarova.
ať je to ten nebo ten, praštíme ho koště.